Okay, welcome. Um, Today I'm going to discuss my Azure ESP Azure table project. Yeah. This project will connect an Azure table to ESP, or better said, the ESP connect to the Azure table. And we got a static website where we display our information. In Azure, it's called a static website, but it can get dynamically data from the storage table or something else, but that you have to do that for yourself. And we will use PowerShell to interact with that. Okay, this project is based on for platform I/O, but you can also use it with Arduino. Um, to do this project, you will need to have an Azure account, huh? And you will need to be logged in. If you don't know how to do that, I really recommend to do the Azure Fundamentals course. A lot of people give them on YouTube and sign up for accounts. Okay. In this case, I will download the the software. Oh, yeah. Um, I will copy it. I will paste it in my case into the temp folder because um, Control V um, because I just use the temp folder from the and I do the development somewhere else. But in this case, you will have it quite clear where everything is. Okay, we will start platform IO. Uh, I will start a terminal, usually where I do it. CD and then where we are located. Just check if we are in the correct directory. And I will say code and then a dot. That will start up my Visual Studio, Visual Studio Code. Sorry, to be correct. And it will also start up everything what you need for this project. Um, if you do start it the first time, um, it will need to let's say populate all this the PIO platform IO directory and download all the libraries what you want to do. Yeah? And you can see them appearing here. Yeah? Let's say the NeoPixel, the JSON, the NTP client, and the Wi-Fi manager, and that is roughly all this what's in here. Yeah. Um, I will select um, just one of them, one of my boards. I've got two set up, um, but in this case I'm using an S3 board, but it's not really relevant which kind of board you use. Maybe you need to just do some tweaking on the LEDs or anything like that, but that's not really important for us. Okay, what do we have as well? Oh, you can't open it here. Um, I've got some nice PDF documents. Yeah. What are we going to do today? Um, the design is go, the Azure table storage we will create. We will create, I will say, not so static website because we are going to display dynamic data, and we will going to use the ESP to interact with the Azure table. Okay, this is the block diagram. Azure table storage, ESP, PowerShell, um, and static website. Okay, if we go back to our project, uh, in here we have let's say create Azure tables. Um, you could run this uh, in one go. I will not do that in this case. I will just run part for part, yeah, and try to do some explanation. Yeah. Let's say we have a terminal down here. Yeah. I will say something. Let's say you got, let's say, a new terminal window here. Yeah. And if you say, uh, then say the platform IO command, it will not see it. But if you run the terminal from here, yeah, say in the platform IO home, and then say new terminal, yeah, and you say platform IO, yeah, then it will find it. Yeah? And especially if you're going to use a lot of the command lines, you maybe use that one. For our case, it's not really relevant, so I will stick to this part. Okay, um, the because the storage account will be publicly accessed, you will need to have a new unique name. So that's why we generate a random number. Yeah. Um, I usually, when I have the random number, let's say in this case, uh, we generate the random number, and so R and D, yeah, and this is our random number. Yeah. Then I will just put my random number here in a static environment. And the reason behind that is then I can always run something else behind it. In this case, I just take a random number, and so I can set up my environment variables. Um, as I'm located in Western Europe, I say Western Europe, um, and that's it. Okay, if I run this part, well, I'm connected already. So it's otherwise it could be that you will get a connect that you won't have to connect your Azure account to the PowerShell. Okay, we will create um, a resource group, yeah, and a storage account. Yeah, well, and we just run the PowerShell commands. Yeah, and that's it. It will take somewhat time, a few seconds usually, to create the storage account. Okay, yes, yes. Okay, go on, go on. Okay, I will. The next command um, will give internet access to the storage account. Yeah? Um, okay, okay, that is that. Um, and we also put the HTTP uh, so that we can use non-secure access to the um, uh, to go to the storage account. We use non-secure access as you can do secure access from the ESP, but it gets a bit slow. So it's um, and if you go through a secure connection, then you also have to maintain the root certificates, yeah? And that can be quite difficult because the root certificates will change in time. Oh, okay, the get context, that is really to get the context of the storage account, yeah, and that is used later on, in or let's say in this case, yeah, to create a static website. Yeah, I need the context of the storage account. Um, I will have two documents: the index and the error. Yeah. Um, this will result in a storage account. Yeah, and if I run this command, then I will get the URL of that. website. In this case, is this URL. So we have created a resource group. We've created um, a static website. Yeah? And if I go to somewhere here, and I will try to open that static website, it does not. It exists, but it cannot be found at the moment because there is no page information there. And we'll come back to that one later. Um, and if you, we also go to our resources. Let's go to all our resources. Let's do a refresh. Should be there. Uh, okay, why is it not in our resources? Refresh. Okay, we'll see that later on then. Create a storage, a table storage. Hmm, okay, so now we have created a table storage. Okay, if you go back to this picture, the static website has a specific domain name, and the table storage has a different domain name. Normally, you cannot do a cross domains reference. For that, you need to do set, let's say, the access control allow origin setting in one of the headers. And we do this with this command. You also will expose some header information. I will come to that back to that one later. Okay, that's done that part. And we then have to create, um, um, let's say, static keys, static access tokens. Yeah? That is done in this. We do roughly three different tokens. One is for a read. The other one is for read, append, and update. And then we have one that we use for all kinds of, this, that is roughly the admin access. Yeah. Yeah. And as you can see, these are roughly the tokens that will be generated. Yeah. Um, and they look roughly like this. And let's say our SAS token append, yeah, that is has, let's say, two versions, the HTTP version, say the non-secure version and the secure version. Yeah. In here, what we do, we write these, let's say, I will say them keys, static signatures. Um, we we write them to the files. Uh, uh, this I want to copy this one. See, yeah. And what will happen here is if we go to the file explorer, then in our source, the table environment, yeah. So then this one with 2223 in my case will be written to this file so that we can use that within our ESP. Yeah. And it's also written here into our endpoints. Yeah, it's also written here so that we can use it in our web application. Okay, if I carry on, this is roughly how you could upload files to the static website, but because I'm quite lazy, I've made this small upload, and roughly what it will do is get all the files that are in the web directory and then upload them to the website. Hmm. and that is roughly this command will just upload everything to the website. That's it. If we go back to the website, we got the no that it didn't find anything. And if we load it now, you would find something like this. Um, so what we now know is that go here. We have created our static website. We have created our table, uh, um, and that's it. Okay. Um, Now, what we want to do is to put some information in our tables. I got two functions, um, an append function and an update a table data function, and that will create do the real append, um, or it will update a record, an entry. I would say an entry. Um, Now, if we run these two, um, like that. See, okay. It does not really do, only it defines the functions. Yeah. Okay, if you want to uh, do something with update a parameter. What I want to do in this case is do two things. I want to get some parameters from the tables, so that I can do specific things in the ESP depending on the value of the table. And I want to upload some information from the ESP to the tables. But to do that, to get information out of the table, I need first to do some entries in the table. In this case, it's very simple. I do a flashing LED light and I do an interval of temperature measurement. I use the internal EP temperature sensor for that one. Uh, okay. Um, and I do two things at the moment in here. I got a device name that is empty, and that is roughly my device name that I use for if I don't find a specific device. Yeah? In this case, I've got a specific device. Yeah? That's how the device name is built up. It's just some static information, what kind of project it is, what kind of device it is, and the MAC address in my case. But if you want to make something else of it, be my guest. Yeah. Um, okay, and if I run these commands, yeah, and then I should have some information in my tables at the moment. And if I go back to our website and I see all table data, and you will find that we got these two entries in our table data. Yeah? Um, and that's it. Yeah? So this is all of the login. I've got some different selections here. I'll come to that later on when we are doing our walkthrough for the website. In this case, yeah, you can also do it using PowerShell, yeah, and then you will get the two records. Yeah. In this case, the value, and then you will get the two records. In there, you will find, say, the row key ID, let's say a timestamp that's added when you enter it, and yeah, the other is just the data that we specified. Yeah. And the partition key is, in this case is parameters, and that is also what we specified here. Okay, and in this case, I just want to append another data, but I would just say it is the PowerShell script, what we did. Yeah, yeah. So that's the PowerShell script. If you go then back to all data, you will find the PowerShell script entry is also there. So at least we know that we can enter data into the table, and we can read table from the data from the table. Um, well, here are not a few other PowerShell scripts that we did. In this case, we use the non-secure connection, yeah, and because here we use the endpoint, and that was the secure connection, yeah, and this one is the non-secure, yeah, and that is just to test that we can can add data to our tables uh, through a non-secure connection. Yeah? So in this case, um, my free text that was yes, this is a PowerShell non-secure HTTP append. Well, it's not here, yeah, but we have to do a refresh, just a refresh, and then you will see it. Um, this is the end HTTP non-secure append. Okay, what we have done, oh, these are more filters. Let's say the parameter table or the PowerShell script. Um, in this case, I usually do convert them to a JSON that's just for easier reading for me. So that's, let's say, in this case, if we run it, then you get these nice records. If you would leave that out of there, we can do it like that. Yeah, then you get something like this. It's also in there, but not so readable for me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Getting data out of the table storage. That is usually limited to 1,000 entries. So, and if you have more than 1,000 entries, you would need to reiterate as every time the next 1,000 entries, and that is done in a bit, I think, a bit awkward way. You got in the response headers, this case. You got two values, the next partition key and the next row key. Yeah. But these next partition keys and next row keys, um, you will not be able to get them with the, let's say, the standard invoke rest method, because that will not return the header keys. Um, and for that, you need to do the web request. But still, then you won't get the requested headers. And for that, what we did in the beginning when we set the cross um, settings, we also added this line, expose headers, and then you will get the headers. So you would need to do that. If you have your own website, then you would also need to set this somewhere in your web server environment. Okay, where we get the update, we did that one, and we just need now to just run the get. Then I'll just run it. Yeah, but it does not do anything. It just defines the getting of the data. Yeah. Um, And then yeah, you could say something like this: get the PowerShell, and in this case, what I did is also I specified a selector so that you would get um, not all the columns, but just two of the columns. Yeah, and if you say get, what you see then, you got the status code and you got the value, and that are the two records. Yeah. And what you will see here is uh, um, hmm, that was, oh yeah, that is wrong because we didn't provided the select here. That is what is wrong. So I will run it another time. What you see here, because we didn't specify the select, it will go to the default value, because the select is not mandatory. And if you can't find it, then select this empty, and that will mean do everything. Yeah. Okay. And if we do it this way, and we do select, what you will see here is then only the two entries, timestamp and my free text. Yeah. And that's it. And in oh, this is parameters. Yeah. In parameters, it's not specified, so this one should really be the power. Uh, yeah, this should also be the filter. This because the filter we have defined here, and this you should really put the filter here as well. And so this is roughly how it should be. Yeah, and then you get, and because you specified in this filter a PowerShell script, yeah, that's our partition key, and we defined, did the timestamp and the free text, and then you get the free text and the timestamp, and that is these two things, values. Okay, that was that. Um, okay, if you create data, you should also delete the data. That's done here. Um, the disadvantage really from the table storage and through the API interface is that you can only delete one record at a time, of one entry at a time. So in this case, what I do is to get the table data, and then for each row, then I will delete the endpoint. Yeah? And in this case, I used invoke rest method, and then the delete method. Yeah. And that's it. I won't run it in this case because we just I can run it because it's let's say it's do this on the reboot, but we don't have any reboots at the moment because we did not connect an ESP into this one, so I won't do that. Okay, what we have here the a number of REST invoke methods, um, and yeah, different ways to interact with the tables. You can have a look at it and maybe run it what you want. Yeah. And for example, this will just get the number of restarts from the last hour. Well, we haven't connected the ESP yet, so we don't have any restarts on that one. And roughly that's it. This is, let's say, all the endpoints that we use. Yeah? That is the endpoints for the read, yeah? For the append, and the one that has all the access rights connected to it. Yeah? And you can also see it here, the SP, that is what access rights you have. Um, and that is also encrypted somewhere in the key behind that. So that is roughly that. I will do one small thing because I want to do the update for the device that I'm going to connect. Yeah, and I'm going to do the temperature interval every 20 seconds. This will create uh, the will update the temperature that. Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah. So and now it has updated the this value to put the temperature interval to 20 seconds. Yeah. And if we go back here, yeah, and actually go to the parameter tables, yeah, then I will see that it will be update. The parameter will be sent, or let's say the ESP will get the parameters from the tables, and it will see, okay, it's I'll have to update my temperature every 20 seconds. Okay, then we will go to the the ESP software. Oh, no. Let's do first thing first. The web page. We got that. We got the just get this out of the way so we have just a bit more space. The index. In the index, it's just a very simple Bootstrap application. It has a number of buttons and it has a nice image, and that's roughly it. And you will see all the different, um, will redirect to all the different files in here. If we go to all, that's the easiest one. Um, we define here the table, yeah, and this table will be created, yeah, using this create table, and let's say this show table, and let's say that this ID, yeah, and roughly this the all table data, that is the this that has let's say the variable array, and in there is all the table data, and that will create um, this nice table. Yeah? All the columns names, they will be collected out of that all table data. Yeah? And let's say this create request. Yeah, this that is really this part that says the create request. You got again the filter, the selector, and the unload function. Now the unload function is roughly this function, and because we have some parameters in there, we have to define a function that we can use here. Yeah? So roughly what it does, it does create HTTP request. It goes out here. It opens the endpoint, and if it gets data back, then it gets the unload. Yeah, and then it will check if it has some more um, headers. So it has to collect more data, and then if it has more data, it will go back to this function and do another call and collected all the data, and all the data that will be concatenated to that array. Yeah? So to this array, to the value array, all the data will be concatenated, yeah, until it's finished. And when it has no data to get anymore, then it will do the unload function. Yeah? And, and that is roughly then this function that will be executed. Um, and then that's in this case what you can see here. You will just get this table. Um, this create table, that is in here in the table builder, yeah, and you get the create table. This will create the table what you have seen, yeah, and in here you will have all the, let's say, you can do a sort, yeah, but you could also have a device name in here, something like if you say an S2 or an S3, and then you will get all the S3 devices. Yeah? It is case sensitive, but it will give you some extra feeling about what you have for data. And that is also done for all the other ones. Huh? If I say the parameter table does roughly the same, only what we specify in this case is we specify a filter, yeah, uh, and the filter is for the parameters, and well, the selection, selector, we leave that empty at the moment because that's we just want to have all the fields, but which one? Reboots, I think. Yeah. For the reboots, I did some selects there because in the reboot I have quite a lot of information that I've put in there, and you don't want to have all that information there. And but again, this is the location of the table, and yeah, actually, this is the create of that table. It's as simple as that. Okay, that's it. Okay, what we did, let's go back to this one. Um, we created a table, we created a static website, we explained a bit how we interact with the static tables, how the static websites get its dynamic data out of the tables. We discussed how we built the whole environment and how we can manipulate the tables within um, from PowerShell, um, but we haven't connected an ESP to that one yet. Okay. Okay, what we have here, we roughly got um, the table endpoint. That is roughly the entries that we need to connect to our tables. Yeah. These are just to get the time, the NTP time, and this is our um, main file that we are working on. I will just go through the file very quickly. Um, Here is all the libraries you will need, yeah? And they are also mentioned in this part, yeah? In the platform ini. I usually try to do the location where they are um, stored these files, especially if you're working with the Arduino EDA. It sometimes really gets a bit confusing from, okay, which library do you need? Because let's say the Wi-Fi manager or the Arduino over-the-air update, there are a lot of different versions of them, and they're usually not compatible. Okay, the debug output, that is roughly our serial output. Um, Okay, let's say these are the parameters I want to retrieve from my tables. Let's say it is the reload interval. So how often do I go to the table to get all my parameters? Yeah, and these are the default values if I can't get any parameters from the Azure table. Um, well, these are just some interval timers that I use in the main loop. Um, and this one is ready for what do you call it? Oh, when I do an over-the-air update. Yeah, it's usually you don't want to do anything else than just the over-the-air update. Well, some defines. I use the boot pin also because I use a Wi-Fi manager. Yeah, and the Wi-Fi manager you will put in your credentials after you program the device. Yeah. Let's say the Wi-Fi manager starts up an access point. You connect to the access point, and then you can configure your Wi-Fi settings there. But if you want to reset the Wi-Fi credentials, then you have to uh, uh, find a way to do it. I use the boot pin. If you press the boot pin for 5 seconds, then it will reset the Wi-Fi credentials, and then the access point will be restarted. Okay. And that's it for this guy. Okay, this is for the NTP and for the NeoPixel, because I'm using the S3 board. That is this board. It has the nice one NeoPixel LED on there as well. So mm. Okay, this is some URL encoding we need. Um, if we want to append a record, we need an unique identifier to do that. And here I'm creating that. That is somewhat unique. And what I'm using the MAC address and then some random number behind it. Okay, this is the append table. That is roughly the same as we did for the append table, which is okay. That's roughly this part is roughly the same function, but then for the ESP. Yeah. So we have to add the partition key, the row key, yeah, and that's that random number, created a JSON document from it, and roughly then send the JSON document to our table service, and roughly that's it. The get entry, that is roughly the same, but because the table entry does not support a wide query language, yeah, what I have to do here is first what I will do is I will get um, an entry, yeah, and uh, partition key is uh, what was I say? Okay, get a partition key. That is in this case usually a parameter table, and then a value, and then a payload. Yeah? What you'll see here is the get parameters. Yeah? So what it will try to do is the get the entry. Yeah? It will do that in two phases. The first one, it will do the device name. Yeah? And then it will try to find the device name. If it hasn't find the device name, so if it's let's say the value 0, then it will try to do the same with um, um, device name that is empty. Yeah? And that is what we created early on in the here somewhere. Yeah, okay. Here we created the device name empty, yeah, and here we created the device name with a specific device. So um, the this will first try to find the parameters for a specific device. If it can't find them, then it will try to find the empty device name. If it has found them, it will try to get all the values in there. Yeah. Um, Yeah, and if yeah, that's it. If it can find them, then it will try to set all the values in there. We'll output them to the serial port. That's it. What other functions what we do in here is the log temperature. The log temperature is a temperature read, and that will read the internal ESP temperature sensor. It is very inaccurate, but it will give you some indication what the chip temperature is, and the chip temperature is always a lot higher than the ambient temperature. Yeah. Okay, what we have here, reset reason. It will just try to figure out what the reason was why a reset happened. Yeah, um, and we'll come to that one back later. Okay, our setup. Okay, we have to do our setup for our pixels, for our boot pin, and also for our NeoPixel output. Yeah. And we initialize our serial ports. Yeah. We set up our device name. That's what I said. You could change this to something else. That's the project name, and then I append the chip model, and then the MAC address. But you're free to use something else what you want to do. Okay, this part is the Wi-Fi manager. Say that, and as I said already, you have an access point. You connect to the access point. You put in there your Wi-Fi credentials, and then it will connect to the Wi-Fi. And if you connect to the Wi-Fi, then hopefully you can go to Azure. Um, because I'm not really interested in power management, I will just say skip the power management to make. I do not do any power saving because I just want to make as quick as possible. It will output its IP address, do something else. This part is really the part that we do the over-the-air update, yeah? And because what I expect that you will have more than one device, otherwise you will not really interact with the table service, yeah? and then it's really handy to just do update through the over-the-air update. And that's also what I specified here. You could then define which device it has and at which IP address it is located. Oh, okay, that one. Yeah. Okay, that's the over there. Air update. This is the time client that shows that you at least know the correct time. Okay, this one will create the JSON document, um, and roughly what you do is just add to the JSON document, let's say the device name. Now that's the device name. Um, in this case, then I do the chip model and all kinds of things. I do the MAC address, the IP address, the SSID I add, the strength of the connection, well, there's some memory things, flash size, that kind of thing. Um, how the flash chip is connected. Yeah, that doesn't work for the 2.0.17 release. So how to get that out of there. The reset region, it says on the reset region on the top somewhere that we decoded, and that was here, so all that kind of string. We will log that as well. Where we are we? Yeah, region, and then the Adreno version and the IDE version, and then the build date and time, and then we just the table append, and that's the petition, and that is the JSON document, and then we'll add that to the table, and it will say here the get parameters, and the parameters was what we defined here somewhere on top. Where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, that was this one, and these will get to these parameters. Okay, that was the setup, and if you go below that, we got the loop, and yeah, if you have something that will take quite some time, um, I recommend to put it in here because if you're doing an over-the-air update, the over-the-air update does not really like if it's not handled quite often. If there's quite a lot of time difference there. So okay, this is roughly what we'll do is the blinking of the LED, depending on the LED interval and the LED color. So that you can specify that in your table. Okay, this is every minute. If it doesn't have a Wi-Fi connection, it will try to reconnect. Um, oh yeah, this one is we'll read the boot pin. Yeah, that this is roughly done every second. And if that boot pin is low for 5 seconds, then it will reset the Wi-Fi settings. Um, and that's it. And where do I do? Oh yeah, here's my log. And so roughly the timer interval, that will depending on how many seconds it will log the temperature. Okay, now in this case, what I will do is connect a device. Okay, I've connected it. Here I've selected the device that I will do the programming for. In this case, it's my one. It's an S3. I'll just will do the upload straight away. Mhm. I'll just open this one a bit. Yeah, yeah, it has found all the libraries, and it will just compile it at the moment. We will just have a small wait for that one uh, to finish. what can we go? Otherwise, yeah, this is just the website, the main, the parameters. Yeah, we've got there. Oh yeah, let's say okay, it's uploading at the moment. Yeah. Okay, it's uploaded. Yeah, successfully. Yeah. Press any key, close it. Yeah, and I close it. And if I go back here to, and I look here to the ESP reboot data, yeah. Oh, great! I found one device. Yeah, my build date. That's today. Yeah, and I see here my local address. Yeah, that is my local address. And if I go back here, well, that was this device. Yeah. And from now on, roughly what I can do is just specify the local address. Yeah. And if I save this one, yeah, yeah, even though it's not really anything's changed. Yeah. Um, so I come to that one back later. Oh, yeah, it's this one. We could connect here so also to that serial port. Yeah, say connect. Yeah. And roughly what you'll see here is that it connected to everything, and let's say it got all the parameters, and they are here. So roughly every 20 seconds, it should log the temperature of the device. Yeah. And as you can see, it's nearly 40 degrees Celsius, um, and the ambient temperature is roughly 20 degrees. Yeah. So it will increase usually about to about 50 degrees, something like that. Yeah. And as you can see here already, it's increasing quite rapidly to that value. Yeah. If I go back here, what we can see here, the core temperature data, what you can see all the resets and the temperature data. What you also see here is that it's not sorted, the data. Mhm. And if we go to this one, core temperature chart, yeah, what you see here is that well, if you have more than one device, we could select more than one device. And what you see here is that after programming, you see that the temperature will increase, um, and that will really increase, say, every um, yeah, we log it every 20 seconds roughly at the moment. Yeah, and because we changed that parameter, that we log it every 20 seconds. And as you can see, uh, it's has increased. Yeah, and if we do a refresh of this one, it stays stable, and then it increased again just a bit. Okay, that is that part. So what we did now is we did an over-the-air update, and if we do now an upload, yeah, it will rebuild everything again. Yeah, but it will do an upload over the air. We'll just wait till that finishes. It's a bit faster as well than doing it through a COM port. Yeah. So yeah, I really recommend to use that as often as you can. Yeah. Um, yeah. Here it comes. Yeah. Okay. And as you can see, it uploads quite quickly. Yeah. And especially if you have more than one device, what you need to program then is really great. Yeah. The other great thing about it is that you still don't need to reconnect and disconnect the serial connection if you have that connected. Yeah. Uh, I will just wait 20 seconds, and then it goes gets the temperature again. As you can see, it's increased again. Device data, we go just back because to the reboot, yeah, and I said software reset because we did the resets through the software. In this case, I don't have let's say the build data in this table, because um, in this case this was the reboot. It's been reboots. I put here in here the core. Oh, I've got the build date. Oh, yes, here's the build date. Yeah, and this was, let's say, the last one that we did, because that is a different build date. But so as you can see, you can really see which version of the software is running there and where. Okay, going back to our PDF. Okay, the good things. Ah, yeah. The good things is you can really make a nice dynamic website on Azure static websites. Yeah. The table storage is quite cheap. Yeah. For both things, for the static website and for the dynamically tables that you create. Yeah. You can use a non-secure connection, and I think that is really good because then you don't have a lot of hassle about the certificates that you have to maintain. Yeah. And the static website, hey, you can do that. Let's say the course origin resource sharing. Yeah. You can do that, and that makes it that you can do the interactive interaction with the table. Um, okay, the bad things is table storage has really very limited query support. Yeah. And this this is a really big problem because you cannot get a lot of information out of there. You cannot specify a lot of things. Um, that makes it difficult. What also is you don't have things like sort by, so you don't have you cannot do any sorting of the data, and that is what you also see here in our core temperature chart. I get all the data, yeah, but um, in my function where I want to process to create the table, yeah, I have first have to sort the data in my website, yeah, and roughly all the sorting of the data you would really want to do that in the back end and not at the front end. Um, oh yeah, and what I also mentioned, it really gets a bit annoying after 1,000 entries. Um, that yeah, I really have to get all the data in chunks. The deleting of the data that you have to do that for entry makes it really um, not so pleasant. Yeah, and yeah, the SAS key that you have that um, on your website. So if you even would go here in your website, roughly everybody. If you go to sources, and you go to endpoint, here you have your plain text SAS key. Yeah, it is not it's not secure, and yeah, it's not really um, good practice to put that kind of information on your website. For me, it was a nice learning exercise, and I hope you have uh, uh, um, some extra knowledge about it. If you go back to the Azure, we have got the resource group at the moment, and within the resource group, you got the storage. Yeah? Well, you got in your blob storage. that is where your static website is. So roughly, this is the whole static website. That is what we did. If you go back here, we created that by using the upload. So here you created you can do the, let's say, the whole upload to your static to your website. Yeah, yeah. No, not that one. That one I want. So this part. See. Um, so what you see now is we upload it again, and if I refresh this one, 11:10, and go back and see 11:52. So I uploaded all these data again. Um, that is your static website. Now let's go to yeah, here I want to go to the storage account, because in the storage account we also have the storage browser, um, where you can browse some of your storage. And in this case, you can also browse through all your data, what is in your table. Yeah, yeah. And roughly that's it. Well, we have the device here. You got core temperature. We got some more data because we have waited now, and roughly what you see here is that our core temperature is about 43 degrees at the moment. Yeah. And you see a nice chart that it has been increased. Um, yeah, that's it. You see our reboots, and even if I will press the reboot button now, just reboot button, and I do a refresh, um, then you will see that we have another entry in there. That's feedback power, and that is roughly our 4 and 5. Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, and we can do that sorting on the um, of the data, and you could also do some filtering in here. As I say, if you would only want the um, yeah, so only the high temperatures or something like that. Yeah, you can sort it, or the low temperatures, um, specific dates, specific power reasons. Yeah, that's it. Okay. What we have as well. Yeah, that's the download. And let me know how you think, if you have managed to recreate it or not, and I hope you have some enjoyment in that. Please give me a like and a subscribe, because well, let's say people really like that if you do that. Thank you very much.